I think the NCAA will nail Michigan football coach Sherrone Moore for more than his self-imposed 2-game suspension. And I'm not alone. Locked On Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer. I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hit that free subscribe button down below while you're watching. Share, follow, and like. That way you won't miss a single episode. We're making a push to 20,000 subscribers thanks to you. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So more for Sherrone Moore. We'll discuss UCLA baseball, College World Series, recruiting on the football recruiting trail, plus the latest news, and Tuesday tweets, which are always a blast. Hang on to the end for that one. But there seems to be sentiment that Michigan's self-imposed 2-game suspension on football coach Sherrone Moore for Spygate infractions will not be enough. The NCAA may be looking for a bigger pelt on the wall and may seek a longer suspension. Now, by now, you know that the NCAA's infractions committee this past weekend held a hearing with Michigan football regarding almost a dozen infractions. Most were related to former Michigan staffer Connor Stalions and his advanced scouting and sign stealing operation, which was discovered in the middle of the Wolverines' undefeated 2023 national championship season. A few other infractions also had to do with recruiting issues. The week that the Spygate story broke, Sherrone Moore, who was the offensive coordinator under Jim Harbaugh at the time, he deleted 52 text messages between himself and Connor Stalions. Those messages have since been recovered and investigated by the NCAA. To this date, we still do not know what was on those text messages. But common sense would tell you there had to be something, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. There had to be something. If Michigan was willing to self-impose a 2-game suspension on Moore before this past weekend's hearing, there had to be something they had to go, ooh, we might get nailed on this. Let's put something on the board. All right, how about a 2-gamer? We can live with that. We'll see if the NCAA can live with that. As for Connor Stalions, he departed the program when the scandal broke and has maintained that he acted alone. And he reiterated that Jim Harbaugh never knew about a sign stealing operation. But what about Sherrone Moore? Somebody had to know what Stalions was doing, right? Either somebody or everybody may have known what was going on. I mean, Stalions was on the Wolverine sideline, barking signals all the time to all the other coaches. They either thought he was really awesome at his job or they had to know something was up. Connor Stalions showed up to the hearing this weekend in Indianapolis. And we said on yesterday's Locked On Big Ten podcast that we're absolutely positive, without having been there, without hearing a single quote, not a morsel of news out of what was said in that meeting, we have no doubt that Connor Stalions jumped on the grenade there and tried to exonerate everybody but himself. He's got a long history. It's all too long of how much he loves Michigan and he doesn't want to do any harm to the school. I'm sure he tried to take all the blame and take it off of Sherrone Moore or anybody else that may have been accused by the NCAA. But will it matter? Again, I think it comes down to those text messages. What about other pundits out there? What are they saying? Because I always do a lot of reading, checking around. I saw an interesting quote from ESPN's Pete Thamel, who feels that Michigan lowballed the 2-game suspension, part of a normal process of negotiations. They know that a bigger suspension is coming, so they put a lower number out there, maybe a starting point for negotiations. Maybe they think it's going to be a 6-gamer, half the season, so they say 2. Well, Michigan offers 2, the NCAA wants 6, they split the difference. Maybe it's only 4 games only. ESPN's Dan Wetzel thinks that Jim Harbaugh and Connor Stalions will be the ones to get the brunt of the NCAA punishment this time around. I think he's right about that. But they won't be the only two affected here. Remember, Harbaugh is already under a 4-year show cause penalty, and maybe they'll double it to 8 years. none of that'll matter because he's already gone. Stalions will get nailed too with show cause. And as we said earlier, he probably took all the heat in this weekend's meeting. So in my opinion, one way or the other, we're never going to see Jim Harbaugh or Connor Stalions on a college football sideline again, ever. Again, Harbaugh may not care. Stalions probably does. Remember, he still wants to be the head coach of Michigan someday, according to his manifesto. But what about Sherrone Moore? Given the fact that Michigan's already on probation. Remember, let's not forget these things. They're important with the NCAA. Michigan's already on probation for previous stuff. And given the fact that Sherrone Moore, Michigan, will probably be viewed as multiple offenders now in the eyes of the NCAA, they don't take too kindly on that. I think there will be fines. I think there will be scholarship reductions. I think there will be recruiting restrictions. And I think Moore will get a longer suspension, longer than the self-imposed 2-game suspension that Michigan is putting out there. And the fact that they're setting this up where he coaches the first 2 games of the season, so he can coach week 2 at his alma mater, Oklahoma, and then sit out weeks 3 and 4. That always kind of felt weird. This sets up for the NCAA to swoop in, and if they come to an agreement, a negotiation of a 4-game suspension, it'll be the first 4 weeks of the season. They'll just fill in weeks 1, 2, along with 3 and 4 and call it a day. That's where I think, that's my gut feeling. That's where I think we're going with this. I keep seeing reports out there also that the NCAA decision could take anywhere up to 3 months. Now, granted, the NCAA always takes way too long on these things. It's one of their criticisms as they go out the door with their level of influence with the new rules of college football. But I'm pretty certain that I read that the rules of this hearing, after all they've gone through with the notice of allegations and the hearing, that a final decision has to come within 45 days of the hearing. So I think all this stuff is going to be 3 months. It's going to be in the middle of the season. I think that's nonsense. I think people are kind of forgetting some details about this. I think it's within 45 days of the hearing is what was agreed to. That comes out at about July 22nd, which happens to be the first day of the Big Ten media days in Las Vegas. Again, you talk about a media circus. If Sherrone Moore's there, or if he's not there, camera's going to be all over the place. The irony of all this is, as we pointed out on our earlier podcast, this could be the last hurrah for the NCAA. I mean, they can go big, they can go hard and heavy on Michigan, and this is it. This is it for the NCAA as far as laying down the hammer on anybody. With the new House settlement that was agreed to last Friday, that settlement immediately created a college sports commission that will be led by former MLB executive Brian Seeley. And he's going to run the show from now on. All future compliance investigations, anytime they need to dole out any punishments, they've completely taken this responsibility from the NCAA. It's going to be this new commission now. So if they come down with some heavy-handedness on Michigan, it'll be the last time the NCAA gives a big suspension or punishments to anybody. That's it. This is their last hurrah. So, and it makes me go so far as to wonder, well, can Michigan find a legal loophole here if the NCAA comes down on something in July, but effective July 1, they don't have any say in anything because this new commission, maybe Michigan sues their way out of any punishments at this point, kind of a do-over, fresh start with this new commission. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here and how they might react. Or maybe they'll just sit there, take their medicine. Maybe there'll be no further punishment. That's always a possibility. I know I'm going to read some comments from you guys, Michigan fans, who say nothing's going to happen. This is it. It's going to be the 2 games, and that's it. And you may be right. And I'll come on here the next day, and I'll be the first one to say you were right. But right now, my gut feeling doesn't say you're right. So we'll find out in a few weeks. So never a dull moment with college football, right? Which kicks off in about 80 days or so. Can't wait till we actually start talking about football games. That will be awesome. Hey, do me a favor. Be sure and hit that subscribe button down below. Free. It's free. That way you'll never miss a single episode. We're making a hard push to 20,000 subscribers by the start of football season. We're at 18,600 or somewhere around there. Thank you if you're one of those. Appreciate that. And also, if you could, share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten. That would be fantastic. Don't forget to check out our website, talkbig10.com. All of our podcasts go there, and you can also find your favorite Big Ten merchandise. You're a Michigan fan? You want a Michigan shirt or pennant or get ready for the 2025 season? It's all right there at your fingertips at our website with our podcast, all listed there at talkbig10.com. So feel free to peruse that as well. Lots to get to here. Congratulations to UCLA baseball. We'll talk about them in just a moment. Plus, the recruiting trail staying pretty hot. And don't forget, we'll have our Tuesday tweets. All that coming up in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. FanDuel makes the excitement of watching games even more exciting. You're locked into these NBA finals, 20-point lead swings, player props. Tyrese Halliburton hasn't been quite getting the numbers, even though he had the big shot in game one. SGA is the way to go. Take the overs on his number. As Rick Carlisle said, the dude falls out of bed and scores 34 points. Take the over on his points. You can do that with FanDuel. FanDuel gets you in the action of these games. It makes it easy to stay in the game, either before tip-off or live while watching it. The player props, the performance trends, same game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. So check that out. Again, always play with the player props with SGA and Halliburton. Those are always fun. Plus, hey, how does a $200 bonus bet sound to you to add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? That's it. Simple. First $5 bet hits, you can win more. $200 in bonus bets. So if you are new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, I want to thank you for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day, especially everydayers out there that make this thing go. Meanwhile, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, and don't forget our website, talkbig10.com, for podcasts and Big Ten merchandise. UCLA baseball going to the College World Series for the first time since 2013. Defeated UTSA on Sunday 7-0. That was game 2 of their Super Regional. In short, the Bruins pitching has been phenomenal. Absolutely outstanding in the 2-game sweep. Starter Landon Stump pitched 4 shutout innings and 5 strikeouts before giving away to 4 different relievers that came in. They all threw shutout innings, 5 innings, rest of the way. Got the 7-0 shutout. And that was a day after giving up 2 runs in the first 2 innings in Saturday's 5-2 win. And then UCLA pitching blanked UTSA the rest of the way. So quick math, final 7 innings plus the 9. They got 16 innings without giving up a run. Pitching staff's red hot right now. So congratulations to them. Now, back to football recruiting. While we were discussing Michigan earlier, they did get some bad news on the recruiting trail. They lost a couple of battles for 2 offensive linemen, Leo Delaney and Carter Scruggs, who both committed to Clemson, by the way. And now their desire to try and get some big-time playmaker wide receivers as well. They're going after 4-star Jabari Brady, who we've talked about before on this podcast. He shocked the recruiting world. He picked Missouri. He's out of Florida, and he picked Missouri over Michigan, over Ohio State, which is like wide receiver U these days, and Miami, and Florida. And look, whether Michigan was really in line to get him, we may never know. A lot of the recruiting services out there had him going to Miami first and foremost, but then he decided to go to Missouri. Nice get for Missouri. 5-star class of 2027 now, not 26, 27, defensive tackle JALEN BREWSTER. He's a young high school kid. He's a mountain of a man. Visited the Buckeyes last week, and he was impressed. He says he feels like the culture there is based on brotherhood. He likes that. The Buckeyes haven't wasted any time on trying to lure this prospect. They've already offered him a deal in a scholarship in April. Still has 2 years of high school left. He's already 6'3", 302 pounds. By the way, Buckeye fans, you're going to love this if he comes there. His high school coaches also use his 300-pound size as a goal line running back. Yeah, remember, if you're a little bit older, you may remember the old Chicago Bears from the mid-'80s with Refrigerator Perry. Did the same thing. He was defensive lineman, came in did a little fullback running action along with Walter Payton. So Brewster says that the Buckeyes are definitely in his top 2, although he didn't say what the other school is. However, he's from Texas, and he plans on attending the Buckeye season opener versus Texas on August 30th. Got a feeling that's this other school. Nebraska hosted tight end Luke Sorensen from Anaheim for an official visit this weekend. Sorensen says he's going to make his announcement coming up June 20th. Penn State and Ole Miss are in the mix as well, and he spent several days with the Huskers. And in fact, being that this is so close to his decision time and spending all this time with the Huskers, I think maybe he might be leaning Matt Rule and the Huskers right now. So that would be good. Let's talk about Michigan State for a minute. They've been missing out on some kids. They were really zeroing in on a 4-star running back who is scheduled to visit next week, but he already announced he's going somewhere else. Talking about class of 2026 running back Damon Ferguson. He announced on social media he's going to be going to Pitt. He plays for Milford Mill Academy in Maryland, where he rushed for 1,341 yards and 16 touchdowns last year. That would have been a nice get for Jonathan Smith, but he's not going to get him. So far, ironically, by my count, all 5 of Michigan State's class of 2026 commits that they got commits from just here in the month of June, this first week, all on the defensive side of the ball. Remember, they also lost out on 4-star legacy running back Corey Amatri, whose dad played at Michigan State. He announced he's going to Kansas. So we'll see. Got some news out of Rutgers. We think the world of Greg Schiano, great football coach, doing, I think, the most he can at Rutgers. Couple of back-to-back 7-win seasons. I've talked about how he's the only man for that job, and that's the only school for him. It's just whatever. It's a match. It's a second stint there, and he just brings respectability to that program. And he just made a move on his staff. He fired his longtime sports performance guy, Jay Butler, who was entering his 17th season at Rutgers and his 19th season under Schiano. Butler was set to earn $600,000 this year. He was in the final year of his deal, which was just extended last year, so everything was fine and smooth up until then. He's going to be replaced by Spencer Brown. He was the strength and conditioning coach or director, rather, at Dartmouth. Schiano said it was a hard move, but it was one that he felt was necessary. I hear time and time again from people who tell me these strength and conditioning coaches are like the most important coach. You might think it's the head coach or a coordinator or whatever, but these strength and conditioning guys, a lot of them make upwards to $1 million a year, high 6 figures. This one was making $600,000. They have access to the kids all year round. There are periods where coaches can't talk to kids, got to leave them alone a little bit, let them be students and all that. But the strength and conditioning coach or the director or your fitness director, they got access to these kids all year round, keeping them on the program, keeping them working out and all this stuff. They're very influential. And some of these guys are kind of like rock stars in their own right, in their own worlds. So anytime a school makes a move in that department, it's always kind of a big deal. Also, this is another announcement in the world of the way college football is changing. Iowa is now hiring former NFL general manager Scott Pioli as a consultant. This is after the House settlement came down on Friday. I guess he's going to help them transition into the new world of college football. He's been the general manager of the Falcons, the Chiefs, and the Patriots in the past. Now going to be working with Kirk Ferentz and figuring out how to move forward in this new era of college football with the Iowa Hawkeyes. Thought I'd pass that along as well. So at the end of each show, we always like to have features that are standalone features. Mondays, if you're new to our podcast, Mondays we do our top 10 Big Ten observations from the weekend. Those are always fun. They kind of retell the story of the weekend a lot. Tuesdays, we do Tuesday tweets. You guys hit me up on Twitter or X at Talk Big Ten. I pull the tweets out there, a handful of them. We go on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, we do power rankings. Thursdays, we take a look at the Big Ten Network with Big Ten Classics and live action. And Fridays, we make pigskin picks, or whatever we're picking at that time of year. All right, so we got our Tuesday tweets. We've got some great ones coming up next right here on Locked On Big Ten. Epicor. Let me tell you about this great company. Today's episode brought to you by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build and practicing every detail to get the best results. But no one player, no matter how amazing, can get it done all alone. So working together makes getting the win easier. So at Epicor, the all-stars are the hardworking manufacturers and distributors who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices, whatever you're into. Epicor ERP solutions are created by industry experts to help make every day easier. Seeing your whole supply chain is easier. Managing logistics is easier. Responding to price changes is easier. From small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global vision, will equip you with the right tools to move forward. Think ahead and lead the way, because as the clock ticks down, you need to make the most of every hard working minute. Easier doesn't cut corners. Easier takes the lead. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com. That's www.easierwithepicor.com. All right, it's time for our weekly features that we talk about today. It's Tuesday Tweets. We'll put it on the screen. And if you're audio only, we'll describe them as best we can so you don't feel like you're missing out. First one on the board. This is from Big Ten Baseball. And a picture of the UCLA baseball team celebrating and congratulating them. UCLA beating UTSA 7-0 to advance to their first College World Series since 2013. Says off to Omaha. Hashtag Big Ten Baseball. I'm going to represent the Big Ten out there. Congratulations to the Bruins. Let's see. Here we have one from at Duck Zone. And it's a picture of Evan Stewart. He put out a quote: "Don't put a timeline on me, following God's plan." He was injured, got a quad tendon, suffered in 7-on-7 drills this past week. And last week, rather, says wishing Oregon wide receiver Evan Stewart a swift and full recovery, get back on the field stronger than ever. A little duck emoji. And usually that's a 6 to 12 month injury. 6 months would put him right at December. So I don't know if he's going to be back or not. There, I just put a timeline on it. He said, don't put a timeline on it. We'll see what happens. All right, this is cool. This is from at HRT93, and it is a picture of a Lego set of the big house. I wonder how long it takes to put that together. Says, if you've been following me for a minute, you know that I love Legos. Wasn't sure I would ever find the ultimate set, but here it is. I can't wait to see the finished product. Go blue. Hashtag haul. How many pieces is that? That'd take forever, but it does look pretty cool. Even got the Maze student section there in the corner. Let's come with speakers, Mr. Brightside. Here is at Big Ten Huddle. Big Ten football team's chances of making the playoffs, according to ESPN. All right, here it is. Ohio State is first in the country. This is to make the playoffs, not win the Natty. Got Ohio State at just over 70%. Penn State right there with them at almost 64%. Oregon Ducks sitting there at 57.5%. Then we got a drop off. USC is in there at 21%. Nebraska at 10%. Indiana at 9%. Washington at 8%. Minnesota at 4%. Let's see what else we got here. Illinois under 4%. Iowa, under 4%. Wisconsin, 2.6. UCLA, 1.9. Rutgers, 1.7. Maryland, 1.3. Michigan State, just 1%. They say that Northwestern has 0% chance. 0. And Purdue, 0. Oh, I forgot to mention Michigan. Michigan, 25%. Sitting there right in that second row. All right. Michigan, a 1 in 4 chance. Meanwhile, speaking of Michigan, this is from at Swanky Wolverine. J.J. McCarthy has the highest season passing completion percentage in Michigan football history. It's not even close. And it's a list of the top 10. You got J.J. McCarthy in 2023, 72% of his passes. Todd Collins. Jim Harbaugh at 65%. Got Elvis Gerbach in back-to-back years, 92, 91, 92. 65 and almost 65%. Todd Collins on there for a second time. Shea Patterson. 2022, J.J. McCarthy is on the list a second time at almost 65%. Cade McNamara, who went on to Iowa. Jake Ruddock. Do you notice who is not on this list? Where's Tom Brady? I guess he's not in the top 10 of season record completion. Different era back down. Nobody saw it coming. Blew by 90, 84 days to kick off. 84 also happens to be the number of points Ohio State has scored against Michigan since Ryan Day said he'd hang 100 4 years ago. All right. 84 days to kick off and 84 points since Ohio State has scored since Ryan Day said that. All right. Well, there you go, Michigan fan. Here's another one. We got a lot of Michigan today. Here's J.J. McCarthy celebrating. Oh, a couple days ago, it was National Donut Day. It says Happy National Donut Day when we posted this. And this is Michigan beating Michigan State in the final seconds, 49-0. Speaking of donut, there we go. Let's go to Arrogant Nation at Fight On Rusty. USC has replaced the video screen of the Coliseum, says the place to be. And what a kind of a June gloom. That's what they have out there in California this time of year. June gloom. You can see the gray skies, the fog rolling in off the ocean. That's a picture from the top of the Coliseum with the new school board out there. Here is Blue by 90. We retweeted this earlier this week. Connor Stalions getting out of the car, getting ready to go into the hearing, the NCAA hearing on Spygate with Michigan. It says, looks like Stalions in attendance at the NCAA hearing with Michigan. Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise at the time, but I guess it makes sense now. And here's another one from U of M coverage, sorry. Trending, Michigan has offered a 2027 4-star defensive back, Charles Woodson Jr., the son of Michigan legend Charles Woodson. Here they are standing side by side. I don't know, that's a real picture if it's superimposed. Looks like a little graphic design there. We need some more Buckeye tweets out there to balance it out a little bit. You guys hit me up with that for next week's show. You got it? All right. I hope you enjoyed it. Tuesday tweets every Tuesday. Hit me up at Talk Big Ten on Twitter. I'll get it on here. And don't forget, we have our website, talkbig10.com, where you can reach us any day, anytime, and check out our old podcasts from yesterday. Go back for a second listen. And there's also links there for your favorite team's merchandise. Whatever you do, be sure to hit that subscribe button, please. It's free. That way you never miss a single episode. And I'll also invite you for a second listen to check out our friend Brian Smith and the Portal Show. I know you want to keep up. We keep up with it. He does a great job. Every school, every portal entry, who's going where. Still players looking for homes to play going into the fall football season. So he's got the latest on rumors and all those stories too, and keep you informed with the rapid changes going on in college football with the Portal. It's the Portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. That'll do it for us. Appreciate you being with us as you are each and every day. Can't wait to talk to you again next time. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Sheeman.